online. Cheers guys, thanks. Stevie, Alan, thank you so much for coming on here.
No problem. Thanks for having us.
Do you know something? This is one of the interviews that I'm genuinely nervous about because you two are fucking global now. Like majorly global.
Don't know about that. Thanks,
honestly.
mate, thanks. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that. I'm trying to be honest. Aye, you're right, man. Cheers, man. Cheers, thank you. You've got it.
See the split here already.
Big heat, man. That camera's no big your heat. Oh, it is, I know. God, that's me. I'm turning to a beetroot now. I'm embarrassed.
So, as you were saying before you started, you've got over 55 million streams on Spotify. YouTube is into the millions. When you, obviously you've been in the music industry for a long time, we'll cover that, but when you started this band and your first gig was Nice and Sleazy's, is that right? 2016.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you see it getting to this stage? Being completely honest at that point?
We talk about this all the time, and then you want to say, "Oh, it's amazing." You can't imagine that, but you can imagine that. That's the whole reason why you do it. Sometimes you have to pinch yourself. Sometimes when things happen, that's big. But I guess that was the reason why we started Saint Phnx for the last band, because we wanted to be as big as we can, and we were looking at our peers and people who we idolise, going, right, let's give it a go. So I guess you never truly believe it, I guess, or maybe you, I don't know. It's kind of like blind faith. But when you start hitting these things and look back, it becomes pretty special and kind of mind blowing.
Also, Nice and Sleazy's gig.
Oh, that was funny.
Was it?
No, it was brilliant, but we really enjoyed ourselves. It was the first gigs. We had no idea what it was going to look like, what we were going to sound like. A lot of people enjoyed it, a lot of people didn't. So I don't know on that one.
We didn't have any, like, Saint Phnx was just an idea. We had songs, but it was just an idea. And then next minute, everything just went accelerated down. Everybody's, because the reason why we played Sleazy's was because every record label in the UK wanted to sign us. Every booking agent, everybody just wanted this, whatever this was. And we didn't know what it was, which is bizarre because it just came so quickly for the last band. The last band just like, right, okay, it's ran its course with these new songs, and then it just started. Like, we just put the feelers out there. As I said, it just went from 0 to 100 very, very quickly.
And see the band you were in previous, while you were in that band, did you have the idea of kind of this group at some point, or were you fully kind of concentrating on that band, or could you just see it had a shelf life and it was only going to go so far?
I think we were talking about the blind faith thing. I genuinely believed that in the last band we were going to be the biggest band in the world. Looking back, it's kind of deluded, but you don't get to where you get to unless you have that kind of self-belief and like that determination. I think that was a big thing, the determination of people saying, no, you don't do that. You're not going to do anything. That's what kind of spurred us on. So we were in that band for 9 years. And again, the reason why we started that band was against spite, which is funny because I was in a band with my two mates, best mates for school, and they went away travelling in the world. And I started, right, well, they're away, the band split up, I'll just start doing a singer-songwriter type thing. And all the while he started a band with his mate in the garage playing drums. And they were absolutely shocking. Everything about them was terrible. We had a wee front man who was really 16, good. 17. They were really good. The wee front man had some about him, was quite cool. And I said, listen, I'll help you write songs. So I helped him write a couple of songs, and the next minute Jim Gelty's playing them and they're getting on. Was it Beat 106 at the time, wasn't it? Is that right?
No.
What was it?
I don't know.
It was XFM.
XFM, that's it, there you go.
XFM, sorry.
Beat 106.
Well, XFM is Beat 106 back in the day. But it started to play, and I was like, right, then they started to get a bit of hype, and there's like they're selling out some gigs and all the rest of it. And the next man he phones me and goes, nah, boy, you chuck me out the band, right?
Every right.
Right. So they've obviously realised that he's mince at drums, right? And they went, Chris is coming in, new route, but they're still going to play some of the songs that I wrote. So I says to them, lads, you can't chuck him out, right?
And use this
and still use my songs. I says, that wasn't the part of the deal. And he says, nah, we're playing the songs. I don't care what you say. So I says, right, fine, I'm going to start my own band with Alan in it, and I'll play the songs. And that's how Vigo Theives started. It was all through.
Then he kicked me out again.
No, it was all through spite, saying you're not going to do it to my brother and play my songs. So that's how we started. Just to do that, I had no, I guess no grand plan what to do and get to a record deal at that time. It was just to spite the guys that chucked my brother at the band, and for then we just started, I guess, jamming. And my dad had an office in Bells Hill in a big warehouse, and we just started jamming in there and just the usual places. And we played some gigs, terrible, nobody there. We were absolutely terrible. Then became the thing of we wanted to play Tea in the Park. There was a thing called Tea Break, which is a small stage for up-and-coming bands. So that was our goal. Doesn't matter, let's just play Tea Break. And every year you put your demos in. But 3-4 years in a row, man, dingy, man, you start getting better, going, how are they getting that? How are they getting that? Now when you look back, you see why we didn't get it, because we were rubbish. But you start thinking this is all rigged. This is Jeff Ellis is
conspiring against you.
Somebody's getting Jeff Ellis a brown envelope. But we just kept going, and then it was the goal was to play Tea in the Park, and we met a guy called Tim Vigon who manages the streets, Mike Skin on the streets, and he manages Dexy's Midnight Runners, the Zootons. Did the View at the time. A mutual friend, and
big names.
We met him for a mutual friend. Took him out he came up to. He's a big Man United fan, so we took him to Man United versus Rangers in Champions League. Watched the game, went for dinner, and he said, "What do you want to do then?" I said, "We just want to get to the next level." He says, "You need to stop what you're doing, because you're making a mess of this. You're absolutely over the place. Stop playing for 6 months. Go and make an EP, and one of the songs on the EP has to be your best song you've ever written. Then book a launch night, and then from there sell it out and let the promoters and everybody around you take notice. And then for there, after the next 6 months, do another EP, repeat the process and scale up in terms of the venue size and sell it out, and then repeat the process."
How's that? But when somebody says to you, like, you've obviously been grafting, and somebody goes, "Fucking rip that up."
I've been saying it for ages. I say, listen, you're making an ass here, Stevie. What you're doing here, stop. Right, the best song you've ever written, put it in an EP, and we'll go for there. And then take somebody else to say it. You know what I mean? For him to listen.
You're lucky we're still in the band at this point. Honestly, absolute nugget. All you used to do is play drums and drink up the back of the van with the bass player. That's all I used to do.
Great fun.
Is this how you got sacked for the first band?
No, just I'm not very good at drums. That's the real reason.
It was what we've met. We're looking back now, and you meet certain people through your life or through what you're trying to do that you have a connection with, that you listen to, and we've met these several people from the start to here we are. And once you meet people who have been in the game and experienced it, they're just telling you all the things that they've done right, and all the places where they've made a mistake, and said, "Do this because I've done that mistake, and don't copy that." So when they speak to you and explain that to you, it makes more sense. So we did that. We booked it nice, and we made an EP, booked it nice and sleazy, sold it, and one of the songs was called Heartbeats. Jeff Ellis heard it. And he put it on it was like the Tea in the Park promo video. The promo, they announced the lineup. That was the backing track. See, we're thinking, Jep's putting on that. Sure, like,
Right,
God,
get a
he's
chance.
going to put us on. Come on, you know, if you want to do it, do it. So next minute we get the email and he's playing BBC Introducing. So we're like, ideal, brilliant. Then for there we did the art school, another EP, and then we got like...
Oh, didn't 2 nights at Tuts?
No, that was after art school.
Oh, right. I'm almost
He's always... So then we just basically repeated the process.
Aye.
And it got to the stage where we did like the art school. Then we were like the first unsigned band to do 2 nights at King Tut's. And then we did the Archies before it closed down. And it just grew and grew and grew. And then we were doing the ABC, the O2 ABC.
Right.
We did that twice. And it just went up and up and up. And like we're playing Tina Park 3 times in a row. And we got like supporting the Cortinas, the Fratellis, the View. Everything started to grow. But the problem was it was only in Scotland. It was only like Glasgow.
Aye.
Other bands that were coming up with us, there was bands like the La Fontaines and Fatherson. They were selling it everywhere.
Aye.
We were just selling it Glasgow predominantly. And looking back, that was the issue.
Aye. Were you trying to get places outside of the city, or were you just concentrating on?
We were trying to, well, I guess deep down, looking back, we were trying to be the best band in Glasgow when we should have been trying to be the best band or new band in Scotland.
Aye.
So you could, well, that's the thing, you go down in London, you play in front of 3 folk, you go back up and you're doing 1300 at the ABC.
Aye.
We did like a tour one time, we played, had the ABC sold out, 1300 folk, brilliant. Next night we're playing Nottingham to 10 folk, and it's like, so we need to try and replicate this. We need to try and replicate this in other places. So through another story, and another person we met along the way, that's how we started Saint Phnx. And it was there's a friend of ours called Raymond Mead who plays with Jerry Cinnamon,
right?
And he plays with bass player for Ocean Colour Scene,
right?
So Raymond's been in bands for years with his brother, and he just messaged me and says, listen, I go for a coffee. This is when we were doing the Archies, this is maybe about 7 years ago. And he said, go for a coffee. Right. He says, I was having a coffee with him. He says, you should get the, you know what you should do? You should get the colours management. You like the colours, don't you? So I'm Poundland, Brandon Flowers, man. That's what I'm trying to be. He says, you need to get in contact with the colours management, right? Because they'd be perfect for you. I was like, colours management? How am I going to get in contact with them?
Just get him my phone.
He says, you get their number. He says, you find it. You find a way. So, come back to Alan, to him. I spoke to Raymond. He says, colours. He's like, aye, Raymond's right, man. Leave it to me. Right. So,
the ideas, man.
I'll deal with it.
So but away rehearsing for the Archies, am I getting a car away him? He's checking his phone. He's like, by the way, just got an email back for the cars boy. No. Hey, what happened was he emailed the cars boy. He said, how you doing? We're Vigo Theives from Glasgow, Scotland. Currently looking for management. Wonder if you're interested. Anyway,
very polite.
Very polite.
Well structured.
That's his first email. Well structured, polite.
Right.
First email, no reply. Right. Second email, excuse me, I sent you a demo last week and you haven't replied to me. I find it very, very rude that you haven't replied. Right?
I thought chance it.
So next minute, email back right away. Excuse me, very, very sorry. As you can imagine, we get lots of demos, thousands of demos a week, trawling through emails. Sorry we didn't get back to you. Tell you what, we'll listen to your music over the weekend, and if we like it, we'll get back to you.
You're getting ready with email free.
I was ready. I was already in the draft, ready to go.
He had a virus attached to it that said ready to go. So next minute, gets a reply back, and obviously we say that. So we see he originally sent the email to a guy called Robert Reynolds, who's the manager, the Killers for Las Vegas. But we get an email back for a guy called Mac Reynolds.
Right.
So we found it's his brother, Reynolds Management. And he manages Imagine Dragons.
Right.
And their brother Dan sings in Imagine Dragons. So you're starting to Google and put the dots together, and he said, well, let's do a Skype call. So do a Skype call, lo and behold, and he's on the other end of the phone, he's got plaques, and he's got the Grammys, and he's got the Moon Man.
Brilliant as well, the big long hair.
MTV Awards.
The Messiah. I just looked immaculate.
he walked to business and he starts talking. He's like, listen, love your stuff.
Aye.
Love you for Scotland. You're out of town. Think you would do well in America. What's your plans? So we just says, listen, we might be the biggest band in the world.
Aye.
That's it. He started laughing. He says, right, okay, you got a lot of work to do then. And you need your finger out, pretty much. So he told us, you need to change your sound, you need to listen to songs, proper production, and really think about what you want to do and see if the guys you're idolising, your songs have got to be as good as them.
Aye.
So we were in Cloud9, we were buzzing. I was speaking to him like nearly every week on Skype calls, and I think there was a guy called Jordan who worked for them. He was going to become their manager,
right.
And that was going to be the process. But he left, and a couple of other things happened along the way. So this was probably about the space of about a year and a half.
Right.
So that we had every bit of money we made for the band, we put it into started in this how we met our current producer Ross. We met Ross in the studio, and we basically spent a whole year. Well, I spent a whole year writing and recording in the West End, writing all this new stuff. And after about a year in, we didn't know, like, we were sort of chasing this Imagine Dragons management, the Killers management. For some reason, it didn't. It was still talking to Mac and that, but nothing materialised because he didn't take me to manage his personally, because this guy had left. And we were in a position now where, what am I going to do with this, all this new music? So I share it with the band, and they're like, this isn't us, this isn't Vigo Theives, this is something completely different. And I don't know what, the boys were just like, we're not sure about this.
Were you expecting that, or were you surprised?
I guess I was surprised. I guess I was just so self-absorbed and just focused on getting, when somebody, as I said, when you meet these people who have done it, and they talk to you, it's like you're just soaking everything up. You think, this is what I've got to do now. And you just spend all your time doing that. I was the songwriter in the band, so that's all I did. And when I showed them the songs, they were like, these are great, but it's not us. And I think we all deep down knew that the band had run its course. And the guys were fine with that. So I typed a massive email out to this guy, Mac, and said, listen, I've spent all my money and all my time writing these songs, and the band don't feel this a fit for them. I don't know what to do, pretty much. He says, well, this is, I'll just give it, tell you straight. He said, there's 5 guys, you've got 5 guys in an indie rock band. I can go to any city in the world and find a 5-piece indie rock band. So think about your competition. You're up against it. The biggest thing that will set you apart from everybody else is your distinctiveness. That's what you've got to do. He said, there's a band coming out that been out for a while, and they're going to release an album, and next year they'll be the biggest band on the planet. There's 2 of them, and the reason is because they've got a core fan base, but it's distinctive, and the record label's going to back them with everything they've got, and they'll absolutely smash. And that band at the time was a band called 21 Pilots. So that was before they released all their big stuff. So he said, you've got to think about being distinctive and different. So then I thought, right, 5-piece indie rock band, fair play, and everything. Well, a 2-piece for Glasgow, 2 brothers, that's kind of distinctive. And that's how we just thought of starting, using the same, like all the songs that we did, basically the Saint Phnx songs. So we'll just start something new.
Were you both in the same place at that point? Were you like on board with it as Stevie was at that point, or were you still in the band kind of thinking, what do we do now?
I've got a bit of both. Just you're looking at it going, that type of music doesn't fit this band as a 5-piece. But then Stevie's like, well, see the 2-piece and it's brothers and we can kind of work out. And then from that point onwards, I was obsessed. Still, I'm obsessed with 21 Pilots. Everything they do, watching different acts, and you say, well, how do they do it, and how can we do that and make it our own? And then from that, I was just like, let's go for it. There's none stopping us. At that point, I hadn't picked up a set of drumsticks in about 18 months.
The short answer is, he didn't have a choice, right? He just does what I tell him.
That's what it is. Full reason for the way the band started, the way the band's went, is because of me. And he keeps forgetting that.
Absolute bullshit, man.
Vigo Theives because of me.
Talking rubbish.
Saint Phnx because of me.
Aye, because I'm fucking creating a job for you.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Getting you a job.
There you go.
So, what we did was we had about 4 songs. So there's a song called King, a song called The One, a couple other ones that were alright. But they were our 2 songs. So, we set up a SoundCloud link with these 2 songs, King and The One. And we went on Facebook and we just searched everywhere for major management, right? Major, like we looked Fall Out Boy, 21 Pilots, Diplo, Avicii. Who else?
With a good
I'm
few.
talking about the biggest bands in the world. We managed to get their email address, right? So
I actually didn't get Macklemore's.
So but see, before we did music full time, we used to work with our dad, and also I was a web designer and graphic designer. So I had this thing called HubSpot. You can put it to your Gmail, and when you send an email out to someone, it can tell you who's opened it, when they've opened it. It can tell you if it's been forwarded on to someone and who it's been forwarded on to, right? So this
You're
been
a slag.
This full on catfish.
So it's fine. A lot of people use it. It's basically it's like a read receipt, but it's got a bit on it where it can tell you if someone's forwarded on.
Well, that'd be a warning to you if you get an email.
So
I know you've read it. I know you've sent it.
We started. We got everybody's email. And the email was, "Hi, hi, hello. Saint Phnx had a brand new project from Glasgow, Scotland, looking for management. Please listen to the following tunes. Let us know what you think." That was it. Ding, 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 ding. Next minute, Fall Out Boy, Panic at the Disco, Avicii, 21. All these managers started getting back to us, going, "We love what you're doing here. We love this. We're definitely interested." I'm going, "Oh, look at this, man." Honestly, right? And then this thing on my computer was like, ding, Columbia Records, ding, getting sent to Atlantic Records, just going everywhere. And I'm going, "Here we go, man."
Surely at that point you think this can't be happening.
Just
pinging away that email.
Totally.
And then
Hilarious. It was hilarious.
I was like, "What is going on?" I was like, "I think we're on to a winner here." So next minute, 21 Pilots manager gets back to this guy called Chris Waltman. And he said something that sticks with us to this day, that it just shows you how it works. He said, "I've just listened to your songs. The first thing I did was I Googled you. I tried to find out what you look like. I tried to find if there's any videos of you, what you're like live, where you're from, and I know nothing. And it's so refreshing. Because all I can do is just listen to your music and make my mind up. I can't look at you and go, I'm not sure about them or that. I just listen to music, and I can tell you the music wins all day long. Tell me more about you." So then we started talking to him, talking to all these different managers, and it was just getting exciting.
Well, to be fair, he took a Skype call with us, seen one Lucas and said, "Fuck that."
So we did a Skype call. We're talking to him for a while, talking to all these guys, but they're all based in America. And it was kind of like, come to America. And we're like, "Man, we don't go anywhere, man. We have no money." We're literally, we didn't have, we had no money at all. And I was like, "Well, we can't go anywhere." So there's a guy that used to do BBC introducing up here and manage bands called Ali McRae. So I messaged Ali and said, "Listen, what would you suggest? I don't know what to do." And he said, "Well, what you should do now is there's a company that I work for in England called Centric. And what they do is they get up and coming bands and they get them on Sky Sports, or they'll get them on Made in Chelsea, or they'll get them on TV, just to get a bit of awareness. I would suggest just putting it to them and see what they think, and maybe, all right." So I just sent them the song King on the Wednesday. By Saturday, or by Sunday, it was Man United versus Chelsea. End credits, started playing King.
That's insane.
Whoa.
That's
mental.
Insane.
And then next minute, Monday I got a phone call from a guy called Alistair Goldsmith. And he says, "Listen, I work at Centric, but also manage bands. I've worked at Centric for years. We've had Ed Sheeran come through at the start. We've had Kasabian. All these bands have started with us. We've got them stuff. They've always got record deals." He says, "Some of the best stuff I've heard come through. What's your situation with management?" And at that time, I just said, listen, we're talking to a lot of people then, we're trying to figure it out, but I just thought I'd send it because Alan McRae advises to put it in. And he says, well, I have a friend in London, Mark Arster's in Liverpool, and we want to, I'd like to co-manage you, two of us like to manage you. I said, would you like to come down to London? She said, well, I'll speak to Alan. I spoke to Alan, I said, listen, these boys are wanting to down to London. I said, who are they? He said, I don't know who they are. He said, down to London.
I'm not aggressive.
He says, what are you doing to London? He says, I'm not going anywhere. See, I want to be wine dining 69, man. I want the full shebang. They come up here, they take me for a nice steak dinner. Don't know where that's it.
I'm not going to lie, that's actually what did happen.
He did say that.
If I can't even deny it.
He says that, right? And I'm like, you can't be talking like that. You never wrote a song in your life.
You're thinking about a solo career at this point. You're like,
right. Still thinking about it. So I phoned him up and says, listen, we're not too sure.
Aye.
And he said, we'll pay for your flights, come down tomorrow morning, meet at Shoreditch House, have half an hour, we'll pay for everything.
Aye.
Your beauty.
I'm in.
Here's my tickets for the plane. Ryanair. I says, I mean, stick up.
So we go down, we fly down, get into Shoreditch House, fancy man, rooftop pool and that.
Right.
Meet Alistair. Then we meet our other manager, Mark. Just played it out. He said, listen, love your stuff. We think, I said, well, why didn't you come with us? If we can't get you a record deal in the first 3 months, sack us. Like, fair enough. All we've ever wanted to do was sign a record deal.
Right.
So, none of us, right? There's a contract there, 3 months.
Right.
Fair. So we did that, signed it, and we thought we got a good feeling about them. Within a month, we had offers in from Atlantic, Parlophone, and Warner Records. We had interest. Oh, it's the best. And then we had interest from, we had the chairman of Warner come up to see us. We had
Boy for Republic.
Columbia, we had a guy from America, Republic Records, like fly over.
Aye.
Yeah.
We had all these people just saying, we want to sign you.
Wait a minute, the guy for Republic Records is for LA, and we took him the mean streets of Kilmarnock to the rehearsal studio. Oh my God. Must have shot himself.
He's
probably thought he was in Grand Theft Auto.
100%. Right next to Alec Morrison's gym. So there's all these dodgy characters jumping about, and he's probably in this. We used to rehearse in a dungeon. He's like, must be the man. But he came over. He was brilliant, and all these guys were dead nice, and we were like, hey, what's the end game? What's the score? So
I was ahead of my pen.
We had all these. We were like, all you want to do in a band. Ask MD, start a band, we were there, sign a record.
Right.
That's what you want to do.
Right.
Like, no matter what it is, what's the deal like? It's absolutely shite. I don't care. I'm signing it. Right? I don't care. So we were like, right, we're ready to go. And my manager, we went down to London. We get treated to Muse at the Millennium Dome. So we're in the box, man.
Nice.
Drinking, getting away with it, man.
Two Stellas, mate, to get hey, you going so much as that? Is that a free bar night? I said, Steve, what you want? Let's go.
Just going for it. Just absolutely going for it. And then talking about the deal, and my manager's like, I'm not signing it. I said, what do you mean I'm not signing it? He's like, sign that, you'll be dropped in 6 months. Because the challenge of coming in cold with no fans or nothing, but this will just think, the biggest challenge was like, with the songs, people thought, that's a band on their third record. You have to come in for an angle, like an alternative or a rock or whatever. That just looks like mainstream commercial, and a record label's put that together. Kind of thing like that. What do you mean? He's like, no, we're not saying it. So like, all right.
So I've got some shite songs as well. We can
play. Is that hard for you at that point? Because you've obviously got all these bosses coming out, fucking wildest dreams. You've got people offering you stuff, and then you've got somebody going, nah.
Torture.
No signing it.
I mean, it was everything was just rushed and rushed and rushed. And then it was like we had booking agents, and then it was like we need promoters, and they all come up, we need to play a show, So we've only got 3 songs. You need to put a show together, nice and sleazy. Sold it. The last time, we've obviously witnessed it, because Vigo Theives, we just wanted to we had to go down to London to get seen. The last band to get all these record labels to come up to see them as Churches, and they get signed right away. So it's very, very rare to get all the labels up. from London to see you. So we had every major label on Nice and Sleazy's, we had every promoter, booking agent up to see us. And it was just thrown together. It wasn't terrible. It just wasn't.
It was brilliant, honestly.
It was just different. We just didn't know what it was.
Aye.
And we just played, and it was just everything was just like 100 mile an hour. So it just got to that point where everything was just like, we signed with the managers and everything was just all over the place. And then we didn't sign a record deal. And I was like, what we got to do? So we started putting out songs just individually, making content, but we didn't have a social media following. We didn't have any fans or nothing. We started getting all this streaming, all this like playlist. And so when you put a song on, you really want to go on the big playlist, the big rock playlist. So there's a lady called Alison Hagendorf. She's the head of rock at Spotify. She loved us. So she put us on some big playlists. So the numbers started, and Spotify started spiraling, but we had nothing to show for it pretty much, because we were just like, what do we do?
Put a picture up on Instagram, 2 likes.
But you'll get folk,
I know it was me and you liked it.
folk will see that bit, right, and go, oh, they're getting millions of streams, they must be minted, they must be absolutely ken it. You must get that all the time.
100%,
absolutely mental.
Like, where's the Bentley?
There's an expert, they'll come on to the next bit, I'll tell you what happened with that as well.
So there's all of that, and it's just, we're like, what do we do? Next minute, the booking agents start to go, so they're starting to, we basically, looking back, we weren't ready, but they start getting us Reading and Leeds. They start getting us, played V Festival, Reading and Leeds, we played Community Festival, started getting all
Imagine Dragons.
And then the Imagine Dragons manager just emailed us one morning and says, do you want to support Imagine Dragons in London?
Basically, do you want to support us for £100? And then the band,
that's how much
take the rest of the money.
What you don't do else, you're a support band. Support. I don't know where the unwritten contract is, your rules, but you always give your support bands hardly any cash. Is that like any gig we've ever done? Like you don't get a lot of money to support acts.
I suppose when you see like Imagine Dragons, you're then just going, fuck it, we're in.
It doesn't even cover the fuel going for you.
We played it for nothing. And we went down and played that. It was brilliant. And then we were just thinking of our next move. So we didn't know what to do. We were just putting songs out there. Managers were saying, you need to do this, you need to do that. And we were like, well, we don't know what to do that. We want to try and...
Well, it was, listen, there's times you try to find who you are and try to find what the band is. And you listen to outside noise. And don't be wrong, they've got the best interest for you. But that's when you start realising this isn't me. I mean, I'm wearing all this... a New York hat and all the rest of it, and I was like, I'm no royal blood man, I don't want to be wearing hats, I don't wear hats. And it was like, you try and go for a certain look, say this when you're posting on social media, going, that's not me.
Is that hard with that dynamic though, because you've got people who obviously either try to look after you, but they're telling you things that are completely opposite to what you would do?
It's an outside, the way they're looking at it, they're seeing it for a different angle. You think, well, they're seeing it for what they like about us, so we'll maybe try and put that out and see how it goes. But don't get me wrong, that builds you up to make you who you are just now. But it was just constantly try new things, making mistakes. We're constantly making mistakes and think, oh, we shouldn't be doing that. And then there was a point where it goes, the live show wasn't right. We're try this, try that, try this. And we said, no, just fuck this. But two are in the studio. We used to go into rehearsals at 5:30 in the morning before work. We used to, 5 days a week, 6 o'clock in the morning. Luckily for me, when we put our first song, I get an email, a DM on Facebook for a guy called Rich Stump who owned a big publishing company, which is basically, so when you look at music, there's 2 sides to music. There's the record label side, which is called the master side. Then there's publishing, which is the songwriting side. So he wanted to sign my publishing because I was the writer. He said, want to offer you a publishing deal? So I was like, amazing, I'd love to do that. So I signed with them and I got a bit of money. I had a web company. I still doing bits for my dad, but I was starting to just focus more on songwriting. So I was fine. He was working with my dad. So that's what sort of kept us going to start with. But you're right, we're making all these mistakes, we're all trying all these things, and it just wasn't getting there. And then we'd done all this stuff where it's Imagine Dragons and Reading and Leeds, and then it was like, how can we get to the next stage? Because we're getting like,
music played on adverts and the streaming was good, but just it wasn't a band. There was nothing to take us to the next bit. So round about that time, our dad got diagnosed with pulmonary fibrosis, which is a terminal illness. So we were like, okay. So we used to work with him, and Alan was like the right hand man in my dad's company. And my dad, the doctor says, you need to stop working pretty much because the stress, you're going to die quicker if you're too much stress. So we were like, right, okay. And so he needs to find a job. I was lucky that I had a business, and I also had the publishing money there to keep me ticking over. So I was doing LA trips with my manager manages a couple other guys, a guy called Sam Roman and a guy called Nick Gale, who's Digital Farm Animals. So I was going to LA, it was a brilliant experience, but I was going in the middle of, first time I went to LA, getting sent to all these people's studios, just writing songs. It was a great experience. Oh, it was unbelievable.
I'm sitting back home watching Friends and comedy sets.
So it was great. I was getting to do that, but he was obviously still working away. And then when the doctor said to my dad, you need to stop, he was like, he needs to get a new job. So I spoke to one of my managers, asked, I said, what do we do? He says, I think we just keep going. I said, everything's positive. I said, the numbers are still growing. We just need to find what the route is and find a partner to try and do the album with. So we're kind of running out of ideas. And then we asked the phone, said, listen, I've got us an American agent. He books Billie Eilish and some big acts. So he's one of the best in America. And he really loves the band. All right, shoot you in, let's go. So when about a week, he says, I've got a big corporate gig for you. Right. And I want you to come to America and play San Francisco. Now, this was the point where my publishing money that I got was kind of ran out.
Approaching panic mode.
Panic mode. My business was, I'd left it for somebody else to run. And I was not really making any money from that. He was getting let go with my dad because that was winding down. So like, this is kind of like, we need to go here. And guys, I've got you $10,000 right to play 45 minutes in San Francisco. We're like, let's go, man. 45 minutes. We can get Zoom Air over for 50 quid or something.
There's 14 stops in between.
You need to go to Iceland. You need to go to Timbuktu and back again. But listen, if it's buttons, this doesn't matter. We can go to 2 years.
And they said they've got to hire all the equipment and stuff, and I'm going,
beauty. Doing all the things that we could pocket some dough here for a Christmas side deal. So then we find out American government take 30% off the top line like that. That's mine. As soon as you make money in America, that 30% is mine, not even question it. And if you want it back, you need to file this tax return, get something to do, and you're lucky if you get it back. We're like, all right. So we're doing our sums, we can still make all the money. So the booking agent went, no, you're not going for one day. I'm taking you for 10 days. I'm going to get you about LA and see everybody and talk to everybody. All right, man, that's what it costs us a bit. I've seen it in the old margin that we had buying a Christmas gift.
I'd
already spent. She's like, well, that's the way it goes. So I'm like, okay. So at that time, we get the confirmation we're going, what's happening. And one of the gigs, the first gig we were playing was a gig called School Night in LA. So this is the biggest industry night in the world for up and coming bands. Every major label in America comes to LA to see. So, Youngblood, that's where he gets signed. Everybody in the UK says, nah, I'm not having him. He went to America, played School Night, got a big fuck off, record deal, boom. So this has happened about 2 weeks before we were about to play. My manager went, Youngblood's just signed an absolute belter there, a multi-album deal for playing School Night. He ripped it up. If you do that, you'll get the same. All right.
No pressure.
Feeling good. So we go over. How are we going to make a fucking splash here? What we got to do? So I've got the shiny Nike trackie on. We're all ready to go. We say, well, fuck it, we'll wear skull masks, right? Go with skull mask. We're just blaze it up, man. Just fucking, what's going on?
Need that mask to hide the redneck. So, God, man.
Basically, it's all full of posers. All full of they're just, I work at a record label. It just, these industry showcases are the worst thing ever.
Also, can I just say, if you're doing an industry showcase every single week, you think the equipment would be good.
That was the worst.
The hi-hat pedal, right, for starting to play drums, usually you can adjust it to the different heights. It was literally just a big roll of gaffer tape. Just said, right, there you go. And it was away down here, and my body's up here.
You're so just left.
I was like, oh, just need to go on it here. Do you know what I mean?
So we get in, set up. This gear's a bit dodgy. Stage a bit, isn't it? A stage, man. It's like fucking milk crate. What's going on?
Right.
So I was just go on it. So my man's like, he's need to fucking go. He's need to do well here. I don't want to go do well. Here we go. Packed, man. It's absolutely wall to wall, man. Packed. And the stage stops here, and there's like a couch there with folks sitting on it, right? So everybody from Glasgow and Saint Phnx, and we come out, man, with a skull mask. So what's going on? Everybody's like,
is that what you said? What's going on? Anyone would never get signed. What's going on?
I can't remember what I said. Anyway, we start fucking playing a skull mask on, going for it, man. This guy's bird in the front row, just talking away. And I was like, you cheeky bastard, man. I'm playing face melters here, man. And you're holding
your heart out.
2 minutes, and I'm like, he's spurring me on because I'm going to get his attention. Just going for it. And then nobody's getting into it. The energy in the room was just all showcase industry. Nobody really cares. Then malfunction happens where his headphones came out and we had a backing track that stops playing.
So it could go wrong.
Evan, right? We stopped playing. We get off. The booking agent's like, managers like, oh man, get to the car park. Me, him, and my manager screaming at each other. You tell us to wear skull masks and do all this. Just
wait, no, because the thing is set off. We come off a stage and he goes, do you know what you should have done? You should have done an acoustic set. I'm not telling us to wear skull masks and go mental. So that Oasis would have done an acoustic set, and you're the one that told us to wear skull masks and play as loud as you possibly can. Then you go off the stage and goes, just done an acoustic set.
Just like that, man. So I'm telling you, we were low, man. Low. Because we are thinking, we've played gigs with nobody there. We've played we've seen whatever could go wrong at a gig. We've seen everything you can imagine.
It's happened to us.
Like, I'm telling you, I can tell you, here for another podcast, episode 2, talking about all the stuff that went wrong, honestly.
See at that point, did you have a kind of, this might not happen?
We're going to get to that. This is a juicy gossip coming. Don't worry. So I'll get my homework done. So then the next night, we play a thing called Winston House.
Right.
Now, Winston House is a guy called Corey Maguire, who's like a young creative guy who his goal was like, I'm going to buy a house in Venice Beach and I'm going to get cool guys and acts to play. And I'm going to get all my mates and I'm going to get all the young guys at Spotify and record labels and YouTube and that to come down.
Right.
And I'm going to bring everybody and see the upcoming bands. So on that note, we were so down and we were nervous about playing. And my manager said, well, it's acoustic anyway, so it's not going to go out the other night.
No skeleton mask around next time, just...
No,
did they have it on?
No, we didn't. We still had the tracksuits on, but no hangway. So we're in this funky house in LA, in Venice Beach. It's packed, absolutely packed. We're playing acoustic and everything just starts to go brilliant. And then we'd written this song called Deadmen. It was about a dad, about how the working man struggles for his family and what he has to do, and how sometimes he needs a bit of escapism to escape the realities of life. So we started talking about this and talking about our dad being ill.
Oh God, I made an ass.
And
I made it as if my dad had passed away there and then. And at that point, and the full I'm not joking, the full crowd were greeting. They were all crying their eyes out, and I thought, why are they crying?
And I'm like, it's alright, he's no dead. Right?
I mean, I was like, what? They're all crying for? Then I realised what I'd said and I went, oh shit.
But we started playing and everybody was loving it and we felt really, really good after it. Really good. And the manager was as if she said, I told you should have done acoustic. I said, don't fucking start, man.
Chase yourself.
So then after that, we had another gig. We had to go and play San Francisco in this corporate show. The Friday we had like another sort of, it was a DJ up in San Francisco. He puts on nights. So he puts on fairly good sized bands, UK bands and European bands. He puts them on first in San Francisco before they hit the big time. So we're playing that, and that was a good show. And then my manager, he was driving back down to LA, so I'll leave you in San Francisco. This is the gigs on the Monday. That's the Friday we played it. So we're thinking, what's left in the kitty?
Right.
There's $100 left, man. Spent all that money.
Much, 65.
It was like, after we spent flights, because we had to pay for the manager and some other things, and pay for other transport, accommodation, just everything. It was like we had no money left. And
that was like 10 days.
Just like that. Gone. Just having we had to spend. I think we had maybe buy working visas as well. I think we did buy visas out of that to play the show. So we had no money, and we had like $65 left. We're in San Francisco. We were staying in a 1-bedroom Airbnb. And we didn't have any money. We went to San Francisco, didn't have any money to go to Alcatraz or that.
So we went down to the water and just looked at it.
Just looked at it. Chucked in a couple of stones.
That was it.
And we were watching Coachella on Coachella was on, but we were watching it on YouTube, and we're sitting eating one like
sharing a bed, by the way,
sharing a bed, eating pizza, man. Right, and I'm going
rock and roll lifestyle,
just having about it. And we're phoning home, and my dad's just talking about winding the business and going to doctors and that, and just going. I just turned to him and said, I can't do this anymore.
Right.
I'm just, and I've never been like that ever. I've always been like in the Vigo Theives. It was people used to take the piss at me because it was the hashtag believe. So because I visualise it, I'll see what I want to do, and I'll make it happen. That's how we do it.
What had changed for you at that point?
I just think because I genuinely believed that the pathway had came, getting major record deals offered to us, supporting Imagine Dragons playing Reading and Leeds, getting taken to America, getting all these opportunities, all through basically the songs.
Aye.
And the streaming numbers were there, and I had better streaming numbers than tons of bands.
Aye.
Especially like massive sign bands in the UK, we had better streaming numbers. And I'm going, if it's not going to work, all this, maybe nobody likes this, maybe, it's not going to work. And I'm thinking, I'm going home with no money, you're going home with no money, and I can't keep doing this. I literally put every single penny I've ever made in my life into making music, either making a record or touring. Or literally no save, all the savings, everything into doing music, and we're married. I had a young family, and my wife, she's been 1,000,000%. His wife as well, 1,000,000% supportive. Go and live your dream, go and doing it. But it comes a time you've got to show something for it. So I'm like, I think I'm beat, man. I think it's got to me.
Were you the same at that point, or were you still keep going?
I'm still, there's the back of the van with the cans. That's what I'm still thinking.
He turned to me and says, you can't write a song saying one day I'll be king and give up. Oh, fuck, right, all right then. Fuck's sake.
What a line that is, by the way.
Say again.
What a line.
Vigo Theives started because of me. Saint Phnx started because of me. When it's at the lowest point, I gave the motivational speech. It's not because of me.
You ever seen Old School? The film Old School with Will Ferrell? But he's dumb as shit. Next minute, someone comes over and he says something genius. He does that from time to time. He just has these brain farts.
I was Pacino on Any Given Sunday. That's what it was.
What?
It was like Pacino on Any Given Sunday.
Right. You were half asleep when you said it. So we fly back to Reykjavik.
Right.
And it's freezing.
Hold on, you need to explain the flight. It was from San Francisco to Reykjavik on an EasyJet flight.
Right.
No TVs.
No food. No nothing.
2 hours in a single out. I'm behind Stevie. Stevie's there. Got no phone battery, no nothing. Sitting like that for 9 hours.
Terrible. Get to Reykjavik, 5 hour stopover. All the Reykjavik stuff for to eat is extortionate, right?
Maybe share a toasty.
I shared some. And I'm going free. I'm not allowed to. I can't eat anything like that, right? But I just ate it. I was starving. That flight for Reykjavik back to Glasgow, I'm telling you, my cheeks were as tight as anything because I could have sank that plane. Anyway, so we get home and the wife's like, how'd it go? How'd it go?
Where to begin?
How'd it go? Oh, it definitely did go.
He's that tub of bleacher.
It definitely did go. It went somewhere though where it's meant to. So we were like, genuinely, we had no money to record. We didn't have a studio because we always go in with our producer and mate Ross. So he's busy, he's got to do other fine work. So we had no money to get in to make a record. We had no money to make videos or content. We had nothing. We had pretty much no income. So we're like, right, you're all well and good for these motivational speeches, Alan, but it's still not looking good. So we didn't know, because we're speaking to the manager like after that the big LA show. They phoned you that? Nah, I said nobody's phoned you. So for fuck's sake. So my manager at that point, just when we went over, started living in LA. Now he's getting major success from his other artists, like so Sam, who I wrote Deadmen with, he wrote Someone You Love with Capaldi.
Right.
And he's wrote fucking major hits, man. Tons. And Nick, Digital Farm Animals, he's a big producer. He's wrote tons of hits as well.
Right.
So Mark doesn't really, his outlook on this thing is, it's fine, it's going to take a bit of time, we'll be fine. We think, we've no money, we can't do this, man. This is like my mental this is mental torture. But so he's over in LA, and anytime he phones you at 3 a.m, it's always good news.
Right.
It's always good news. Because if it's not, he'll just wait to the next day because of the time difference. 3 o'clock in the morning, FaceTime, jump up, man, what's going on? What's going on? He's like, I've got a deal. And I was like, oh, yeah, beauty.
Right.
He said, we've got a deal with AWOL, Cobalt. It's independent deal. He says, but it's pretty structured the same as a major would be. You get some money for yourself and as advance, and to we can make the album. You can get straight into the album. And I was like, finally, brilliant. And since that day, everything just went on the way up. Just slowly but surely, everything just went good. Don't get me wrong, there's been major ups and downs since there. But that's when things started to go, right, okay, we can start to get a bit of plan together now. And that's what happened. So we went straight in and made the first record with Ross. Spent a whole summer there.
I honestly see 2018, see for the January through to the May, like literally all downhill, thinking, man, this cannot get any worse, and it keeps getting worse, and you go, oh shit, and then that comes in and start making the album, and in between the album you get an email for the agent saying, do you want to do a thing called the Laver Cup? It's in Chicago, they've asked you to play this opening ceremony. I'm going,
it's like the Ryder Cup, but for tennis.
I'm going, what the fuck's the Ryder Cup, man? Let's go, we'll go for it, let's go, cool, no bother. And I was on holiday with my wife, and I had to meet Stevie in Chicago. This was the September, so we're doing the album and all the rest. We hadn't finished then, and to fly over and do this show, and I was in Florida, and I flew over to Chicago, got off the plane. There's a guy standing with my name, and I'm going, what was he doing with my name? He's like, your bag, Mr. Jukes. Well, when you go, and I was going, one time I said, do you get picked up for the airport? He's like, aye, it's brilliant, man. What do you see? I said, this is brilliant. Honest to God, by the way, never felt like a rock star on my life.
No, a shared bed anymore.
Not to be fair, I got a horrendous room, but
I got a great room, but it was the United Centre in Chicago where the Chicago Bulls play. Sold out tennis. Federer. It was Roger Federer's manager that booked us. Seen us.
That's mental.
Basically says to our booking agent, he says, listen, you're the biggest agent in America. What bands you got? Just gave him a list of these bands. He's like, right, I won that band there. So we went, we played the opening ceremony. It was 25,000 folk in this stadium.
How many nerves?
Sorry,
I was miming.
I'm singing live.
I was loving it. I was like, these drums aren't even mic'd up. Let's go.
He's playing the song's just going like that, and he's playing drum fills and all that. He's Phil Collins, man. Just going mental. But it was on Sky Sports and all the rest of it, but we were getting treated like royalty. Man. It was brilliant. It was superb.
So how can you go from that to that in the space of 2 months?
It was like that. Everything just started going. So then we made the record, and we went to we've been using a guy, Stuart, to direct all our videos for years. Brilliant. He's superb.
He's brilliant.
And we always said, listen, we need money, can you help us out? And he always did it. You always, like, could stretch a dollar, as they say, and he would always make something massive happen for no money. She says, listen, we've got a bit of money, can get you a bit of money this time. He says, no bother. So I said, well, why go to Iceland? They saw him big, epic, because the album's going to be that black and white opposites, so I think black volcanic ash, white ice and all the rest of it. So he says, can we do it? He says, we've got a bit of budget together, here we go, put a storyboard together. This is going to be absolutely epic.
I'm cringing thinking about that story.
It's going to be absolutely epic, right? Next minute, I'll forget this, got all sorted, actors getting these astronaut costumes made, ready to go. It's going to be class. Stuart's, he's dealing with Stuart, right? So I think something's up with Stuart. Something's not right here. He's getting a bit stressed out about these costumes and all the rest of it. So I'll be fine, man, don't worry about it, it's no bother. So I'm telling you, I don't know if the costumes are going to be made in time or something. He's freaking out and the date's creeping up to go to Iceland. So we get to driving in to the airport, me and my dad having a laugh, can't wait, make a video in Iceland, here we go. He's on the phone to Stuart, because I have the phone to Sam's up, man. Sam's up. What's up? He said, I think Sam's not going to, I don't think he's going to go. I said, what do you mean he's not going to go? He's of course going to go. Get to the airport. Stuart's the director. He's all this video's in his head. He's planning, he's a genius, right? All this stuff's in his head. He's got a urine infection. He's got base. He's really
blue.
He's blue. Oh, he's really unwell. He's really unwell.
Blue.
And he goes, I can't go. And I says, I better go. Let's go.
Is this at the airport?
Says at the airport,
day leaving.
He's I can't go. And I said, what do you mean can't go? He said, I'm pissing blood here. I'm not well. And I went, don't do this to me.
I looked down and he's not got a bag. I thought,
don't do this to me.
He's no fucking about. He's no gone.
So we've basically commissioned this bit of money to do a record deal. So a video. We've got the 2 actors that are going to be in the video. We've got the costume special effects guy coming with us. We've got the assistant head of videography there, assistant director. And he said, I'm not going. So I start going fucking mental. Like, just lost it. I know, I'm very, very cool. But this time I just lost it. And I was like, get the fuck out of my sight. And then I was like, to the fucking, these folk are like, what the fuck? I've never met these folk in my life. So I'm really sorry, I'm not like this, by the way. I says, but he's just telling me he's not going, and I don't know what we're going to do. Anyway, so almost missed the flight. Get on the flight, fly into Iceland, right? We've got all the costumes, all the special effects in these big crates. We've got it, basically, we're doing everything DIY. And I sat down and go, we're fucking in another situation here.
I remember this as a
I said, I don't know how we're going to pull this off. He says, we need to shoot we've told the record label we're about to shoot this big epic video, right? And we're not got a director. And so, all right, Stuart said to us there that Alex, the assistant director, he's went to film school and he's going to film it. He knows everything. It's all right, chill out, man. You just got to drink the plane, chill. Getting touchdown. Big Alex, I grab him. Alex, listen, I'm really sorry for all that stuff at the airport. But Stuart tells me you've been to film school and you've got a degree in that. He says, no man, I'm a wedding photographer. He says, you're joking me.
Arse, trousers, both everywhere.
Anyway, then we get to the baggage reclaim. All these big crates are all smashed everywhere. Suits, everything all over the place. Every costume's done. Anyway,
what's the rage level at this point?
It couldn't get any worse at this point. Then after that, he has to go and get 2 bikes because there's a plane, there's an abandoned plane in the middle of this big volcanic ash beach that we wanted to get in the shoot.
Right.
So, but no, it's a 5-mile walk. So we thought we'll get the 2 actors on the bikes, so we have to walk and they'll pedal out and pedal back. Right. So he's about to hire bikes. I've got everybody else in the back of this motor going to the hotel. Get to the hotel. Right, guys, up at 7 in the morning, right? Get a good sleep. A chap, the assistant director and the special effect guy's door. Open up, it's freezing, stinking of spray paint. Now I realise why Stuart's unwell. The costumes aren't ready. They're all over the place. The guy Johan who's doing all the costumes is out in the veranda. It's -8. He's spray painting all these costumes and all the rest of it. And I'm thinking, oh, right, that's why Stuart's had a nervous breakdown, because the costumes, the costumes done already. Anyway, I've got leather trousers on, right, and a big funky shirt, and these big platforms on, ready to go, right. We drive up to a glacier,
right.
Yeah, we get everybody in the motor, drive up to a glacier, getting the drums out and that. We're going to shoot up this glacier. We got up there, and this big bus comes up. All these guys got off it with North Face jackets on, helmets, spikes, and all the rest of it. He's like, "Oh, neighbour, where are you going?" I said, "Up ice, up the glacier." He said, "You're not going like that. You can't go, man." Just like,
here's it, eh?
I don't know. Should have been. I think he was Irish. So we're up this glacier,
brilliant,
rocking out. All these
tourists are walking by.
Tourist hikers are walking by. Anyway, it was going worse to worse, and then we managed. I don't know how we did it.
That's the second time I felt like a rock star up a glacier.
We managed.
With a silver stab on. My God.
Then we just struggling through. It's getting darker. Blah. Get to this. It's going to get dark. We need to shoot this plane shot.
Right.
So we're just getting to this beach. 5 mile trek. It's about to get dark. Get the bike suit. Right, Alex, doing all the filming. Get the actress. She can go on the bike. Alex, you go on the bike with the backpack. I'll meet you there. It's 5 mile. I'll just run behind you with the stuff. Alex, I gets on the bike, man. Starts to pedal. I was like, Alex, you're on the rocky path. You go to that bit. It's the side. It's a smooth bit. Right. He jumps over there, man. It's quicksand.
He did the handlebars. He'd right off a rock.
Big cut on his head like that. Boom. He's like, oh my God, it's getting worse and worse. So then we're just running for 5 miles, sweating. Get to this big plane. It's covered with tourists everywhere. What we've got to do is getting dark. We can't shoot anymore. I'm just like, excuse me, everybody. We are from Sony Records. We're shooting a Maroon 5 video. Hi. Can everybody please vacate the plane? We need 30 minutes. So everybody vacates, man. We're
all pissed off. They were all raging.
So we shoot
Sony Records video, big production. There's 4 folks saying, "Get away, move, get back."
And where's Maroon 5?
Exactly. So shoot this video. Finalised, done, boom, great. Pitch black. 5 mile walk back, and then the heavens open. It's crazy. We can't see anything because it's all black volcanic ash. And we're walking back to this car park. It's 5 mile away. There's a wee tiny car light. So I'm walking through, just thinking, thank God we did it. He's got to take these bikes back to this boy who hired him for, right? Oh, big Johan up a tune, right? So he jumps, he's at it, you just go. You just get in the car and go. I'll get the crew, put everybody in the car. He's about 10 minutes in front of me. I thank God we pulled it off, man. I'm driving with these back roads in Iceland. Next minute, sees flashing post lights. I'm like, fucking, what's going on here? It's driving back, it's like, oh shit, that's Alan.
Horrendous.
Cops done him, man.
Horrendous.
1,000 krona fine for speeding.
500 quid. 500 quid speeding fine. And do you know what? First, if anybody's watching this and they can tell me if this is true, I'm sitting in the back of the post motor and the guy says, pulls out a laminate sheet, a price list, right? I'm going, what the hell's this? What am I ordering here? What's going on? Don't know what's happening here. And he says, right, okay, that's what the speed you were doing. There's your fine here. And he's like, pulls out a card machine. Somebody's at the wind up here. This boy's pulled out a card machine in the middle of nowhere. How's this boy got a card machine that's connecting the Wi-Fi out in the middle of this? And he just goes, right, there you go. I says, mate, I can't afford that. It's £500. And he's like, if you don't pay it, he says, the Icelandic government will get their money and it will double when you get back home. I'm like, any chance you can reduce it, mate? And he goes, I tell you, if you pay it now, I'll go half. I'm like, 250 quid. I said, how much was I doing over? He says, you don't want to know. Anyway, I checked it. I was doing about 30 mile an hour out of the speed limit. I think I was doing 90. I had 90, no, I can't even count 90 on a 50. I was battering it because this boy was shouting at me for these bikes. I told him, I'll get you the bikes back for 6 o'clock. It was half 10 at night. They go to his house and drop them off and I got up the road.
So we did that, and then that was the first single for Deadmen, and that's when everything started to finally get the music out and start going. That was a funny experience, and then from there we just get geared up for the releasing the first album, and we went to America for a thing called South by Southwest, which was good, great experience. And then we come back, but again it's like you're thinking it's all well and good, starting to get a wee bit of fan base and that, but how do we really get this to the next level? We just don't know. And we were seeing 21 Pilots at the Hydro. sit next to each other, and phones go ding ding. Check it. Booking agent. Do you want to support Youngblood in America for 3 months? And we just look at each other and go, absolutely. We would love to.